Tragedy at Sauier, the mysterious death of 6-year-old Gracelynn Vick. On April 13, 2025, a dark shadow fell over the small town of Sauier, Mississippi, when 6-year-old Gracelynn Vick, a child with blonde hair, brown eyes, and a heart full of vitality, mysteriously disappeared. Within just a few hours, what unfolded became an unforgettable tragedy for the Vick family and the local community. On that fateful afternoon, Gracelynn was reportedly playing in her family's front yard. Standing only about 4 feet tall, with an adorably small appearance, she had been the joy and life force of her family. However, in an instant, everything completely changed. According to family accounts, Gracelynn went outside to play in the yard and then disappeared without a trace. Upon realizing the child's absence, the family immediately searched throughout the house, around the neighborhood, and continuously called her name. But all efforts were fruitless. There was no sign of Gracelynn. News of the disappearance spread quickly, and the community rapidly responded with a large-scale search campaign. As information about Gracelynn's disappearance spread, the entire community quickly rallied together. The Harrison County Sheriff's Department launched an immediate widespread search. Search teams scoured the area, volunteers searched through woods, and even boat teams were deployed to search underwater. Drones flew overhead, helicopters scanned fields, while volunteers and police searched by both land and water. This was a comprehensive search effort, demonstrating the solidarity and concern of the local community for the fate of a missing child. On the afternoon of April 13, 2025, after 6 tense and hopeful hours of searching, a heartbreaking discovery marked the end of the rescue effort. Just before 6 p.m., as the sun began to fade in the Mississippi sky, Gracelynn Vick's body was discovered in an area on the family property, near a swing set and animal pen where she often played. The moment of discovery was a shock to the search team. According to witnesses at the scene, the area was quickly surrounded with yellow police tape, and the Vick family members were removed from the scene amid sobbing and extreme pain. Images of search participants with stunned faces, some unable to contain their tears, became testament to the pain the entire community endured. Gracelynn Vick's body was found on or near her family's own property, close to a swing set and animal pen. The area was quickly cordoned off with police tape. Gracelynn's death shocked the entire Sauier community and left many unanswered questions. The county sheriff stated that no one had been arrested, and it was still too early to determine whether any criminal activity was involved. However, these cautious statements did not prevent waves of speculation and discussion throughout the community. Gracelynn's death became even more tragic when it was learned that this wasn't the first loss the Vick family had suffered in recent years. Just over a year ago, in March 2024, Gracelynn's sister, Victoria, died in a car accident. She was only 13 years old. And in 2021, 3 years earlier, Gracelynn's older brother, Larry, died at age 17 due to a medical condition. 3 children gone, 1 from illness, 1 from an accident, and now, 1 under circumstances that remain a mystery. Jackie Polk, Gracelynn's aunt, shared with the press that the little girl was still grieving her sister's death when tragedy struck her too. Gracelynn is remembered as a smart, sweet girl full of vitality. According to her Aunt Jackie, Gracelynn's first love was animals. She grew up on a farm, spending time caring for chickens, goats, and turkeys. This love ran so deep that the family named their land after her, Gracelynn Heritage Farms. Now, that very place, where she had laughed, played, and grown up, is silent. Gracelynn will never again chase chickens and turkeys, never again feed the animals, and cannot grow up on the land that now bears her name. The cause of Gracelynn's death has not been officially released. Currently, there are more questions than answers. Was this a tragic accident, or is something more suspicious at play? How could a child disappear in broad daylight and be found just hours later on the family's own property? These questions have prompted the creation of a Facebook page called Justice for Gracelynn Vick, filled with comments, theories, and demands for answers. However, according to Phil Waters, a retired homicide detective, such social media forums often promote conspiracy theories rather than help the investigation. According to Waters, in such cases, investigators must approach the scene methodically and with an open mind. "You have to let the evidence lead you to where you need to go," he said. "Detectives will collect all possible evidence from the scene and conduct an autopsy to determine the cause of death. The autopsy will examine common locations for DNA, perform SARS testing, and rape kit testing to see if the girl was sexually assaulted. All that evidence collection at the autopsy will be very important in this case. Additionally, investigators will also collect evidence from where the body was found and from where she went missing. Depending on the condition in which she was found, whether she was still clothed or not, will determine what type of evidence needs to be collected. While awaiting autopsy results, there are various scenarios that could explain Gracelynn's death. If determined to be an accident, no criminal charges would be filed, and the case would be closed after investigation. However, if the autopsy reveals something suspicious, the investigation will shift accordingly. Investigators may request parents and other witnesses to take lie detector tests, although no one is legally obligated to take these tests. As the investigation continues, the Sauier community remains in shock and grief. A candlelight prayer vigil to remember Gracelynn Vick was held on April 22nd. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers gathered to pay respect to a life ended too soon. Gracelynn's death is not just a personal tragedy for the Vick family, but a collective wound for the entire community. A 6-year-old girl, with her whole life ahead of her, was mysteriously taken away, leaving an unfillable void in the hearts of those who loved her. The case of Gracelynn Vick raises broader questions about child safety and community responsibility in protecting its most vulnerable members. How could a child disappear in her own yard? What can be done to prevent similar tragedies in the future? As the investigation continues and the community awaits answers, one thing is clear. The death of Gracelynn Vick has left an indelible mark on the hearts of all who knew her, and even those who only learned of her story through the news. As investigators continue their work to discover what happened to Gracelynn Vick, her family and community remain in painful waiting. They wait for answers, they wait for closure, and above all, they wait for justice for a child gone too soon. Gracelynn's case is not just a story of loss and tragedy, but also a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing and protecting those we love. As the town of Sauier continues to grieve and search for answers, the memory of a blonde girl who loved animals and was full of life lives on in the hearts of those who knew her. Justice for Gracelynn Vick is still being sought, and only time can reveal the truth behind her tragic death. Until then, a grieving community continues to remember a life ended too soon and hopes that the truth, whatever it may be, will eventually be revealed.